we go. Perfect. The book is great. Nice shades. Okay, perfect. Glad it's going over well. Okay. Children Collector. Do you know this game? It's my favorite. All you have to do is lie very quietly, that's it, just like you were made of stone. Don't blink, don't even breathe, and whatever you do, don't tell them you're playing a game. Oh, I should turn the sound off. $2, thank you, appreciate it. I'll save the super chats to the very end, that way I don't have to interrupt the book. But let me go ahead and mute the alert box audio. There we go, that should do it, I think, I hope. Perfect. Okay. Cool. But let's see. I do want to thank Carlito Cronix. Okay. Anyone else that donates will be at the very end of the stream. I'll read them. Oh, and the last story I read, that was in the middle of a long stream. So our very own Dragnov went ahead and cut that reading out to be standalone. That way you don't have to like look for it in the middle of a stream. If he wants to link his channel there that he put it on, you can find another scary story from the same 51 Sleepless Nights. Anyone that wants to cut this reading out will you can do so and post it. I don't care. Do try to point them towards the channel though, so yeah. Okay, sorry, let me try one more time, that way it's unbroken. Children Collector. Do you know this game? It's my favorite. All you have to do is lie very quietly, that's it, just like you were made of stone. Don't blink, don't even breathe, and whatever you do, don't tell them you're playing a game. They'll want to play with you, but you mustn't let them, because when they join in, it won't be a game anymore. Every year, I visit my father's grave in the Veterans Cemetery. He was a war hero, or so I was told. He died when I was 5, so I hardly even remember him. I'm not even going for sentimental reasons. I just like having a quiet place away from the world where I can put everything in perspective. Last weekend, I knelt to place flowers there and open my mind to clear the air. I was alone, except for 2 young girls, couldn't have been more than 10, visiting the adjacent grave. I heard them talking softly with some lady, but I didn't really pay any attention. I was here for me. Yes, dealing with car insurance or taxes is exhausting, but compared to him dying for our country, how could I allow myself to become frustrated with the minor annoyances of my daily life? I found resolve in the stillness of the dead air, and each time I left, I would be ready to face each new challenge life had to offer. I didn't notice until I started down the hill that the 2 children were leaving alone. Who could they have been talking to? I mean, it was an open grassy hill. It's not like the lady with them could have just vanished. But then I heard the voice again, like a middle-aged woman whispering from a long way away. I walked over to the grave they had been sitting by and felt the gusty rustle of the words through the grass around me. It was getting stronger, and I swear it was coming straight from the ground. Bring me my children. I miss my children. The gravestone said, Dory Malthusa. I couldn't tell you what else the voice said, because I got the hell out of there. And yeah, I laughed at myself for being freaked, but there wasn't anyone else around to impress by acting brave. A girl has got to take care of herself, you know? Well, maybe it was a trick, or my imagination, or the kids buried a walkie-talkie as a joke. I'd forgotten about it until that night when I turned on the evening news. 2 girls, ages 9 and 11, were found dead in the same cemetery. Their throats were cut from the front. The police say it must have been from someone they know, because there were no signs of a struggle. Their names were Rachel and Elizabeth Malthusa. I'm going back to the cemetery this weekend. If the voice talks to me, I'm going to answer it this time. And if it doesn't, if this is all just my mind playing tricks on me, then I could still use a little more tranquility after that unsettling experience. I returned to the grave of Dory Malthusa yesterday morning. Beats going at night, at least, right? The freshly dug graves of her children were keeping her company now. It still seemed ludicrous that she somehow killed them. but I knew I would rest easier knowing they were at peace. "Hello, Dory." I felt like an idiot talking to a grave, and in the quiet of the cemetery, I felt even stupider expecting a response. This was all nonsense. I must have just been so emotional from sitting beside my father's grave that I imagined her voice before. But I came all the way here, wasting my Sunday off when I could have been sleeping in or catching up on Game of Thrones. So here goes. "You need to let your regrets go, Dory. I'm sorry you miss your children, but you can't force them to be with you. If you really loved them, you would want them to be at peace. There's nothing left to keep you here, so it's time for you and your children to rest." I held my breath. The wind rushed through the grass on the hill like a crashing wave. It whistled between the bare headstones. I guess that was what peace was supposed to sound like. The wind died down as I stood to leave, but the sound of the whistling didn't cease. I didn't know where it was coming from, but it almost sounded like a giggling child. "But we don't want to rest. We want to play." It was unmistakable this time, the voice of a little girl. I stood frozen in place. Playing sounded innocent enough, at least. "Then you shall play, little darlings. I will give you everything you ever wanted, my beautiful children." It was Dory's voice this time, the same I heard during my last visit. "There's no one to play with," I replied. "Go to sleep." The wind was picking up again, and I pulled my shawl tighter against the sharp tongues of morning air. "We want someone to play with." Another voice from another little girl. "Can't we go to school anymore, Mom?" "No, and it is my fault for taking you away," she replied. "I'm such a wicked, selfish mother, but I will make it right again. I will bring you all the children from your class, and you can stay with me forever and never be lonely." Bring the children? That could only mean one thing. She brought her own children to her by slitting their throats. I had to do something. I had to warn them, or their parents, or hell, I didn't know. I had to tell someone. "The other children don't want to play," is all I could think of. Shit, I wish I'd said something better now. There weren't any more words at that time. Just the giggling wind which whistled through the headstones. I couldn't just wait for children to start disappearing. I also couldn't imagine the police taking my lead as exactly credible. I considered going to my local church, but there's already been an awful scandal going on. But there has already been an awful scandal going around there, or so I thought it best not to get tangled up. If I was going to do this, it was going to be on my own. After a little research, I was able to pull up the children's obituaries and found the address they used to live. That allowed me to Google the school districts and trace which elementary school the girls had gone to. That's good. That's a start. Now I just had to warn the children somehow. A crazy stranger ranting about ghosts threatening their kids, though. That sounded pretty sketchy. I know I wouldn't let someone like me near kids. The only thing I could think to do was infiltrate the school and wait for something to happen. I don't have any kids of my own, thank God, but I tried calling about signing up as a substitute teacher. They said that I needed to pass a class and gain a teaching certificate for that, but I didn't know how much time I had before the Malthusa girls wanted company. I agreed to set up the certificate training and managed to get myself invited down to the school for an interview. Mrs. Neggles, the home teacher, is the sweetest old thing I've ever seen. Imagine a sugar plum in a home-knitted sweater. She'd been in remission for 4 years, but lately her doctors have suspected her breast cancer might be coming back. She anticipated needing to miss quite a few classes for the testing, and I was so happy I was there that she brought me straight into the classroom to meet her children. I had to buy as much time as I could. I don't know when they will strike, if they'll strike at all, but it seemed like Dory killed her children the same day she was speaking with them. If she was going to try and collect the rest of the class, then it would have to be during school hours. I made up every excuse I could to stay. I sang with the children in their music class and volunteered to supervise recess. I helped the cafeteria lady prepare lunch and even picked up trash with the janitor. By the afternoon, it was clear that they were trying to get rid of me, but there was still no sign of the ghosts. I was sitting in the art room when Mrs. Neggles finally asked me to leave. The children were just filing into the room from their math class. I immediately volunteered to help them painting their wall, but they already had a guest artist who was going to help out. It was getting late, though. Maybe they would be all right until tomorrow. I started packing up my things, and that's when I heard the Malthusa girls. "Come and play with us." The voice was coming through the air conditioning vent. It was as soft as death, which visits in a deep sleep. "That'll be all. We can take it from here. You may go now." Mrs. Neggles was using her stern voice, the one which made children with the attention span of a rabid squirrel jump into line with military precision. I walked as slowly as I could for the door, desperately looking for any excuse to stay. "Can we paint the wall too, Mommy?" "Of course you can, my darling. What colors do you think will go there?" Yellow and orange, like leaves." There, a can of paint sitting on the edge of Mrs. Neggles' desk. I gathered my purse, swinging it carelessly behind me. "Watch out!" Mrs. Neggles was too slow. I hit the can hard, sending it spinning across the room to burst against the far wall. Red paint exploded all over the carpet, and the shrieks and giggles from the children drowned out the whispering voices. "I'm so sorry," I said. "Here, let me help." "You've done quite enough, thank you," Mrs. Neggles snapped. "Don't step in it now. Hey, stop that!" The children were running wild, shrieking, laughing, red footprints everywhere, red hands on the walls. If one of them was cut right now, would I even notice? I had to get them out of here. "Let me at least watch them outside to give you space to clean up," I said. "Fine, just go, get everybody out." "Do you know this game? It's my favorite." We were all sitting in the recess yard. I managed to get them all sitting down in a circle around me, but I was at my wit's end. I don't know how to keep them safe. "I want to paint more, Mommy." The voice was getting louder. The kids were looking in all directions, trying to find where it was coming from. "Who said that?" one asked. "Please, children, please listen to me. We're going to play a game. All you have to do is lie very quietly. That's it, just like you were made of stone." I'm going to paint something for you now. It's going to be bright red, even brighter than the paint. Don't even blink, don't even breathe, and whatever you do, don't tell them you're playing a game." The children were all lying down. Their eyes were closed. At least, if they were to die now, they wouldn't see it coming. "I want to paint with them. Why aren't they painting?" "They'll want to play with you, but you mustn't let them." I was on the verge of tears, but I couldn't break down, or the children would know it wasn't a game. And if it wasn't a game to them, they would begin to cry too, and if they cried, "Mommy, make them paint with us." Not a word, not a sound, still as stone. I held my breath. The children were all quiet. There was nothing left I could do. "They're boring. Mommy, make them stop being boring." Play with my children." A few eyes opened to peek for the voice. A few hands began to rub the drying paint on their skin. "Still as stone. First one to move is out," I said. The hands stopped moving. "Mommy, this is stupid. Let's go back to the park." "Don't you want your class to come with you?" "No, they're all boring. Let's go see the ducks." "Of course, my darling. Let's go watch the ducks together." I'm a full-time teacher at the school now. I haven't heard the voices again since that time, but I don't feel right leaving the children alone. If the Malthusa girls ever do get lonely and decide to come back, I'm going to be here ready to play a game. It's very easy to play. All you have to do is lie very quietly, just like you were made of stone. Okay, well, that was that. Let me go ahead and read the title again. That was Children Collector from 51 Sleepless Nights by TobiasWade.com. So it was pretty good. Yeah, hopefully they didn't murder the ducks. Wait, who's keeping the children? The narrator of the book, a young woman. So yeah. Wait, who's keeping the children? No, I mean, it was the ghost of the children. From Glass Rose. Usually I have the credits showing. Actually, maybe I should have had the credits showing while I read. Something to think about next time. Okay, here we go. Oh, wait, no, hang on, that ain't right. Hang on, One second. Perfect. Okay, there we go. She made it for the debut, and I've been meaning to try and show it on stream, but there it is. Super, super cool. What a cool thing. Thank you so much, MissKittens. It's super nice. Can you show us your props? Yeah, sure. I've only got those two. And I also have one of MissKittens, funny enough. So, yeah, super cool. She's such a talented artist. So if you want to talk to her, she's on the Discord, and she's also sometimes quite often in YouTube chat. So, very cool. And she's a mod on Twitch, too. Alright, so props. I've got a prop of MissKittens. Let's see. I guess I'll just put that over here. Okay, the VTube Studio naturally comes with a few props of its own, but you can add any image you want, really. Like here, see, this is oh god, big. So, you know, you can put all sorts of, like, little critters on you, you know? I made one of, the rigging artist, the animator, who allowed my model to have movement. I think it was this one. One of them is slightly see-through, one of them isn't. There we go. Cool, so it's kind of a very cute little kind of jelly critter. That's Rainley, who is the Live 2D artist who applied animation to this model that you're looking at right now. And this is their icon, so I went ahead and, without their permission, just put it in as a prop. So, yeah. Let's see. And you can pin it to the model, so even though I'm moving around, they kind of stick on it.